Hey friend, welcome back to Fig and Farm at Home. I am so glad you're here. I might be a day or two, maybe even a week, maybe even a month late on this topic. Some of you have already gotten started putting out your Easter bunnies, putting out your eggs, putting out your carrots, and decorating for spring. But for me, it all comes when I feel it. When I feel it in the air, when I feel it in the sun, when I feel it by seeing it in the environment around me. And yesterday, it happened. I was at my son's soccer game. It was a glorious day, though it was very chilly, and I could just smell spring in the air. Do you know what smell I'm talking about? Maybe a mixture of fresh mown grass, maybe a mixture of some of the blooms on the trees. I don't entirely know what it is, but I definitely know it is labeled as spring to me. And so it's time. So my question for you is, have you started decorating for spring? Whether you have or haven't, these tips are great as you transition into any season. All right, friend, stick around, grab a notebook for this one, and enjoy today's show. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style, where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. All right, friend, raise your hand if you are like me and you have to wait to be inspired in order to decorate or change your decorations for spring. Is that just me? Am I doing this all by my own self? Oh, yesterday was a glorious day, and it has been here just south of Seattle. The sun is out. You definitely know the flowers are blooming. Things are happening in the earth. People are mowing their lawn. And when we live here, we know that the seasons are changing when people wear flip-flops, shorts, and t-shirts, maybe even tank tops, which I saw yesterday in 50-degree weather. We know spring is here. But yesterday, it was very apparent to me when I was sitting watching my son play soccer. Not only was it beautiful out, and you could see some of the blooms on the trees, but the smell. And the smell is the thing that said, it is time for me. Sometimes you might have your own instigator. For several of you, it is the calendar. What is on the calendar? We know that Valentine's Day is over, and now we take off our stuff on the mantle and we change it out with things we have for spring. And if that is you, fantastic. I am so incredibly happy that you had the time to do that and the headspace to do that. I wasn't quite ready. I was really digging my cute little heart art that I have on my credenza in my dining room. But yesterday, when I smelled that spring in the air, I knew it is time. And so this weekend I'm diving in and I'm going to take you with me, walking you through the steps of what it is that I do every time I change over my home from one season to the next in order to transition it into a home that serves me within that season. So here are the things that we are doing. Well, by we, I mean me. That I am doing in my home this weekend. The first thing I am going to do is I am going to spring clean. Now, I want you to think about what that means to you. You probably are thinking, yeah, I'm going to pull maybe the couch away from the window and I'm going to get the dust bunnies that are underneath there. Maybe I'm going to dust that fan that is high up on the ceiling and really only gets dusted a couple times a year. Yes, and more. When I think about spring cleaning in my home, I'm not only thinking about that and throwing open the windows, even if it's chilly, I want to have that fresh air come in. I'm thinking about giving my home a blank slate in order to prep it for spring. When I think about spring, I'm thinking about an airiness that comes with just even the scent in the air. I'm thinking about how that translates into things that are inside of my home. The pillows, the textures, the layers that are inside of my home. And when I think about airing things out, I think about cleaning things out. I think about clearing things out. I think about starting with a proverbial and very literal blank slate. So that is where I'm starting this weekend. I think about the way that there is a weightiness in the decorations, the heaviness that might be in the colors that are in the room, even maybe the arrangements. And I know that when I'm decorating for winter, for example, I want that heaviness. I want that coziness. But there is a special kind of cozy that comes from opening up the windows, from airing things out, from lessening and lightening the visual weight, the physical weight of the things that are inside of your home. And so as I start this weekend going through my things in order to visually and physically lessen my space, I'm going to go in with a mindset of clearing out, decluttering. Yep, I am going to do that. And quite literally starting from scratch. It's a big job, but here's how I'm going to do it. I am going to use the 4-box method. You probably already do this when you're decluttering, and maybe you don't even call it that. But someone smarter than me labeled this the 4-box method. But I'm putting my little spin on this because the 4th box for me is going to be different than what is recommended. So here I am. I have one box that is the garbage or bag. The second one is a donation box. The third is a relocation or a keep box. So everything that I'm going to keep or relocate. And the fourth one, which is how I'm doing this a little bit different, is the ground it box. What does that mean? Those are the items that I am not sure about. These are the ones that I feel like maybe I can get rid of it, but I have that a little bit of resistance to. They're the ones that are harder decisions for me to make. And so I'm going to put it in the ground it box. I'm going to put that ground it box in the garage and I'm going to keep it there for a month. And if I have thought about those items within that month, if I have missed those items, if I have needed those items, then they come back out. If not, at the end of the month, guess what? These are things that can go away. But one other thing I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing this very quickly as I touch each item in that room, I am going to be thinking about this thing because I know that sometimes those decisions are so incredibly hard to make, but I'm going to be thinking about this, and it's called the 20/20 rule. And this is, this item that I want, can I replace it within 20 minutes? And can I replace it for less than $20? Now, I know I'm not going to want to go and replace everything for $20. I know that, but that can help me determine if this is a keep or a grounded or even a donation. It might help me make that decision a little quicker. Now, I'm saying quick because I don't want to fuss over this. I'm ready. I am ready. The scent in the air told me it is time. Also, I work a lot during the week, and so I only have 2 days to do my entire downstairs. So I am going to give this one room 1 to 2 hours, and that is it. That is all I'm going to give it. And that's just for the decluttering. Then I'll give it an hour for cleaning. Yep, I'm only going to give it an hour because why? I do not like cleaning, but I'm going to do my very hardest work very fast. And then I'm going to take my time decorating it because that is the fun part. Okay, friend. You know the strategy. You know that I'm going to use the 4-box method. I'm going to ask myself the 20/20 question. But the thing that I didn't mention, the thing that is going to help me go really fast and keep my 1 to 2 hour goal for the decluttering and then the 1 hour goal for the cleaning, the thing that is going to motivate me is the carrot that I have placed at the end for when I've done those jobs, when I have completed those tasks. Now, if you're competitive like me, you might love that carrot. If you are not competitive, you might not care about it, but it can be a motivating factor. So what is my carrot? My carrot is not a physical item. My carrot is getting my nails done. If I complete these tasks, yep, I am going to go get my nails done. All right, friend, that is the very first step to getting your home ready for spring. But there are 4 more steps. So the second thing that you're going to do requires a journal. It requires a good pair of walking shoes, and maybe even a coat to keep you warm, because I'm going to send you outside. And I want you to go on a nice leisurely stroll. This is not an exercise walk. My husband and I call them exer walks. It is not one of those. And I don't want you to have your earbuds in. I want you to be distraction free. So if that means leaving your kiddos with your hubby for a bit, if that means going out without the dog, I want you to do that. And I want you to go and I want you to stroll. And if you can stroll for a good half hour, the better. If you can stroll away from your yard, the better. If you can stroll meandering through your neighborhood, meandering down the little lane that you live on, go do that. And I want you to pay really close attention to all of your senses. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? And I want you to ask yourself those things. If you bring your journal, great. If you bring your phone to write it down, great. But then I want you to ask yourself the next thing. Like yesterday, when I was sitting watching my son's game and I had that very strong "this is spring" smell, now I want to ask myself, what is that? What is it that I'm smelling? Can I take 2 minutes to think about and identify the things that are making that up? And if that means I have to go and sniff the trees along the path, great. That is the entire intention behind this walk. If that means I follow the sounds of the birds chirping, fantastic. If that means I go and I look at that plant blooming and I'm looking literally at the buds that are on the plant and I'm noticing the wispiness of the branch, yes, I want you to pay attention to those small details. Friends, remember, design is in the detail. And when we are paying attention to the detail of spring, from the observation point of our senses, we are able to bring in a little bit more nuance of design in a way that is not just cute little Easter bunnies and carrots and eggs in vignettes on our table, though those are cute. It is more than that. And so that is the assignment now, is to pay attention. And someone might stop you along the way and think, what is that weirdo doing? Let them think. Because you right now are taking the posture of literally stop and smell the roses. Of course, the roses aren't blooming, but you'll be doing this in the summer. But you are literally taking that posture, that position of, I'm going to take my time and see what I see. As you ask yourself that one extra question, what is making that sound? What is it that is causing that smell? How is that flower blooming? As you pay attention to those, what colors are coming out of that bloom? I know it's going to bloom pink, but what colors are present right now in the bud? As you pay attention to those details, you can recreate them within your own home in things that you currently have, or in ways that are just a little bit more elevated than the common objects we think about for any type of seasonal decorating. The goal here is the allusion of spring. We are alluding to it in the details we bring in, not the overt details. Now, when you're back from your walk, the other thing I want you to write down in your journal or in your notes app or whatever you're keeping your notes on is I want you to think about all of the things that remind you of spring. Just have a brain dump is what they call it. Just think about and write down all of the things. I think about grass growing. I think about robin's eggs. I think about barbecues. I think about fresh greens. Ooh, you know what I think about? I think about chartreuse. I absolutely love the color chartreuse, not necessarily in my decorating, but in spring, in nature. I think about the way that green is such a vibrant, fun, playful green. I'm definitely writing that one down. I think about my mom's tulips. She loved tulips and had so many. I think about the way that when flowers come up through the soil and the leaves especially, that it kind of pokes through. I think about planting. I want to be in my garden. I think about barbecues. Did I already say that? I think about a step closer to summertime activities. I think about cool evenings and warm days, but very different than fall. It's a very different kind of cool, isn't it? Frost is still present in the morning time and it's warming up, but it's still a little brisk. I'm writing down all of it because in those details are going to be the inspiration that moves me forward to bringing in the decorations that maybe I already have in my home that I just haven't thought about it. So for example, before I tell you step number 3, when I said robin's eggs, I know I'm thinking color. That really pretty robin egg blue or that Tiffany blue. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the little polka dots that are on the robin's eggs. Now, I might not literally bring in robin's eggs into my decorating. I'm definitely going to bring them into my snacking. But I might not literally have a vignette with robin's eggs, but I might have a vase with hobnail, and that hobnail vase might have tulips in it. Tulips, of course, spring, but the hobnail vase is alluding to and reminding me of those robin egg or the little polka dots on the eggs. Do you see how I'm thinking about those elements and I'm bringing it in a different way? Things that I currently already have, things that I already own, but I'm not overtly bringing in the robin's eggs. Hey friend, I see you over there standing in the pillow aisle at Home Goods wondering which pillow to choose in a sea of pillows and thinking, why on earth are there so many choices? And you, friend, I see you scrolling on Pinterest, gathering inspiration from all of the beautiful pictures. But the minute you get off the computer, you think, now what? I haven't the foggiest idea where to start. I want to invite you to a free 2-day live event where I teach you the tools for unlocking the overwhelm, the indecision, and the confusion when it comes to decorating your home. If you've been wanting a little refresh in your home decorating and you keep wondering where to start, this, friend, is where to start. In this 2-day event, I'm taking you back to the basics so you can learn to identify your design style. It is that important. Because, friend, once you know that, you are able to make confident decisions without the overwhelm. And the best part, you stop wasting time and money. So join me March 26th and March 27th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And if you can't make it live, don't worry. If you register for the event, I'll send you the replay so you can watch later. You can register at bit.ly/Fig and Farm Bootcamp. I'll see you there. All right, step number 3, the thing I'm going to be thinking about, is something I already alluded to. I'm going to shop my home. I'm going to take that list of all the things I smelled, I saw, I noticed. I'm going to shop my home, and I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to go into my garage. I'm going to go to my garden shed. I am going to go to the backyard. I'm going to go to the front yard. I'm going to walk around, and I am going to see if I have anything within my home, maybe tucked away, maybe it's just hanging out in my bedroom. See if I can bring it out into my area, into my room that I'm currently working on, and bring a fresh, new perspective here. I want to see if there are different colors. I know when I think about spring, I think about soft colors. Pastels, yes, but I also think about kind of those happy colors, those happy hues, like chartreuse I mentioned, like that robin egg blue. Pink, of course, comes to mind. The yellow forsythia that is blooming. I think about those colors and I'm wondering, do I have anything in my home tucked away? Maybe it's artwork that was in the kids' room even. Is it a picture that I had taken several years ago that I can swap out and put in a frame? Do I have other elements in other parts of my home that I can bring into the room I'm currently decorating? I might be looking at books to see how they are bound and what colors they are. I might be looking at titles of books, like gardening books, for example. I might be looking at in my garden shed, and I might find really cute, aged, kind of antiqued terracotta pots. That reminds me of spring. I might have a really sweet collection of pillow covers so that I can just change out my pillows. I might be looking to see if I can move away from the pillow that says Easter or the pillow that has the bunny, and I might move into something that is maybe a little more, that has the illusion of spring rather than the declaration of spring. Like a green velvet pillow, for example. How does that remind me of spring? The hue of the green reminds me of blooming grass. That was on my list. But here's where I also want you to think about how we are airing out our space. We worked very hard in step number 1 in order to air it out. Spring feels airy, it feels fresh, it feels light. And so as I've removed every single item from my space, before I start putting them back, I do want to think about the weightiness of those items. And as I'm shopping my home, looking around, I'm wanting to bring in things that feel lighter, that feel like they have a presentation either in color or in weight of airiness. And those are the things I'm going to bring into my room. All right, number 4. Now, if you went and followed me along on this very journey, you really have a blank slate and you have just the anchor pieces in your room. And if you're not sure what an anchor piece is something that is either built in or too costly to replace every now and again, like a couch, like a dining table, like a fireplace, like a built-in bookshelf. These things are anchors of your room. Before you start bringing anything in, I want you to think about those anchor placements. Is there a different arrangement, first of all, that can feel a little bit more fresh and airy, that might feel a little bit more open, a more open arrangement? That is the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to start bringing in the items that you gathered in step number 3. The textiles, the vases, the books, all of the things that reminded you of spring, that alluded to this visual of spring, that are in the fine details. You're going to bring those in, and as you bring those in, we are going to start styling them, but we are going to start styling them layer by layer by layer, keeping in mind that the ultimate goal here is to have an airiness feeling to your space, something that feels a little bit more visually light than it just did in the winter. So I'm thinking about those textiles, and are they a heavy weave or are they a lighter weave? And as I am putting them back in, I am double checking my work. I'm double checking my gathering, because not everything that you gathered is going to make sense here. If I'm holding a blanket that is green and it's very heavy, but I'm holding another blanket that is light aqua and it is more of the muslin material, I'm going to choose the one that has a lighter feel, because I'm going for a lighter appearance in my room. In this approach to spring decorating, when you're thinking the light airiness feel, less is more. So when you're styling your mantle, or you're styling your tray on your coffee table, or you're styling your bookshelf, how is it reflected in the less is more? Does it feel cluttered? Does it feel like you have too much stuff here? And if it does, remove some items. But here's step number 5. Step number 5 is such a fun way to triple check your work. The way that you style your objects, the way that your room feels, the way that your room presents itself to others. And that is by taking a picture. Take a picture of your room, and then I want you to look at the lens of your camera or your phone. What do you see from the picture? So many times you might see the discrepancy staring at you through that picture, through that visual field, rather than what you're seeing in real life. When I'm decorating my spaces, I stand in one spot, I take the picture, I don't move from that spot, I look at the picture, I'm still standing in that same vantage point, but there's a very different perspective, a very different view, and I want you to think about what you're seeing from that picture so that you can go alter it, take another picture, and remediate it if you need to. All right, friends, 5 steps to decorating your home where we are creating the illusion of spring based on the observations we have, the memories we have of spring, and how it feels to us, what it sounds like, smells like, so that our decorating can be a little bit more elevated. All right, friend, until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.